SWB audio capture, not registered. SWB audio capture, not registered.
Jim. Hello, Warriors. Let's have a great week, as Ryan says. How are you, Ryan? Hi, how are you, Ryan?
Good, mate. You?
Pretty good. Hugo, everyone, how you doing? Alexander, Michael, welcome to F.A.C.E. if this is your first time. And I think all right. So we're closed here today, right? So all the action was Asia and Europe, and still constructive the dollar. Still think there's another push up here. And, everything's really, Ryan, how do you trade this when you're waiting to see if there's an invasion or not? Do you just stay trade this stuff because the overnight risk is so huge? I mean, would you compare this to like another event that you probably wouldn't have big positions in, like a Fed meeting? Would you put it on par with that, or do you think it's already baked in whatever he does?
I think it's a bit similar, but on a larger scale.
Yeah.
The moves we see in between the headlines. We had headlines. First in this morning, late Asia, about a Biden Putin meeting, phone call, whatever. That sort of risk rally. But really, you're talking 50, 60, 70 pips. Depending on where you're looking at, which is not a lot. The problem we got is that it just keeps going and going and going. These headlines keep coming and going, and we're just waiting. Are we going to get an invasion or not? Because once we know, then the market can do its thing, and
right.
we know where we are after that. Hopefully, we all hope that there's no invasion and everything calms down, and then we go back to trading central banks and everything else. But trading wise, it's you can lean against levels. We've got the levels around, 72.25, 20, 25, 30 in Aussie dollar, 136.40 in cable, 113, 90, 114 in euro dollar. But it's only so many times you want to post a chart showing the same old levels, and trade the levels as you like. They're there to be traded, but have in mind the event that we're sitting in at the moment. One headline can sink or swim you.
An invasion or a withdrawal is going to be a huge move where technical areas and levels could just become meaningless for a while.
Yeah, exactly. If you're on the right side, then you're going to love it. If you're on the wrong side, you'd better have your risk managed. That's what we've been saying for the last 2 weeks. Trade away, do whatever you want to do, but have your risk managed in regards to the situation we're sitting in.
Yeah, that I have a hard time wanting to do something, recommend doing something in this environment. If this wasn't a backdrop, I would, I'd be trading. But
you have less conviction, don't you?
I do. I can't trust charts on such a major event that hasn't happened, in 80 years.
Yeah, I mean, I was sitting here this morning looking at cable thinking, do I fancy a little short into 136.40? I'm thinking, well, it's looking a bit, it keeps bouncing. Every time we get a move, cable keeps coming back up. So, maybe do I try a little break long if it goes through 40? And you're sitting there and you're thinking, yeah, I could do this, I could do that, but I've got no conviction. And if I don't have strong conviction about it, then I just end up sitting on my hands, which is frustrating. And it's frustrating as a trader to do that. But sometimes you just got to be sensible, if not boring.
Now the Nasdaq is very close to testing the lows from 3 weeks ago.
Yeah. So what do you do? Do you try a little buy there with a tight stop underneath? Where'd you put it? Where'd you go?
I don't know. Yeah. I think eventually the S&Ps, whether or not we get like a C rally, from here and it holds and, we pop again. But ultimately, I think we're headed, down towards the 41 handle to take this out. And, if this happened on an invasion down here and we were down here, I'd be more interested in probing it. But I'm not interested in shorting it here, betting on an invasion in case he calls it off, and then we could do this.
Yeah. There's always a time you think, okay, fine, I'm gonna stick to a level, I'm gonna trade it, I'm gonna keep the stop tight if I'm wrong, and you just go for it. You know, the levels are levels. You can't sit on your hands forever, and we all get frustrated in the trade. But it's just how strong your conviction is in that particular level.
Okay, so Jay's is saying silver back to 2260. Actually, you know, that could happen. I have a little uptrend line here, Jay's. And it's a 61.8 level. It comes in that we're above. We went to 78.6 and was rejected a couple of times. So you're thinking back down to 2260. That'd be a pretty good break. Yeah, and oil's acting like there's not going to be an invasion, at least today. But then, you know, I was trying this in ETFs, you know, the short side of crude, and it doesn't look impulsive to me. It just looks corrective. You know, I'd actually, you know, my experience would be wait for, if there's going to be an invasion, I'll act on the initiation of hostilities, not this, you know, back and forth in Damascus or whatever the place is called. But, you know, he rolls his tanks into the country in a pincer action, then I might do something.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think that's the best way. Just react when we get a big headline.
Yeah.
So, you know, you try not to chase it, and don't try and buy the dip that quickly, because you've got to let it play out a little bit, see what the reaction is from the West. And if it's just sending letters and sanctions, then, you know, that's all it's going to be.
Yeah. Ruble under pressure here, you know, from last week's low.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, maybe the ruble is going to make weaken on the invasion. So US dollar ruble up, ruble weaken. It's possible, you know, or we could stall here. Everything's either or to me, and that's not my style. I know it's always either or, but it's really either or more than I can remember in recent memory.
Yeah. Hey Dale, good morning.
Hey, morning.
Good morning, guys.
Yeah.
Do you ever remember, especially you, Dale, that you've been around?
I know.
Covering.
You mean when Hitler went into?
Yes, World War I,
going there.
World War II, the Balkan Wars, you know, and everything else. Do you ever remember such a parody of an invasion? I mean, it's like a media invasion. Every day we have some kind of an alert of an invasion upcoming within a few hours. I mean, what kind of an invasion is this going to be?
There's no element of surprise, that's for sure.
It's a social media invasion.
Yeah, it's. I don't know exactly what that is going to end up being, but it's going to be one for the history. I mean, they end up invading. I won't know what to think of it. Of the fact, I mean, that everybody knew in advance and was waiting hour by hour for the invasion.
You're right,
what kind of an invasion tactic is that? And if nothing ends up happening, then I'll have a lot of questions like, was this a possible thing ever? Was this a bluff since the very beginning, which I think is a very likely scenario to begin with, to extort for some kind of, some type of concessions or whatever? What the hell was this?
Everything's unprecedented in this era, isn't it?
Yeah.
Did you see it this morning? There was, the headline this morning was, Ukraine forces have bombed a Russian.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, very likely. Sure. If you're the Ukraine, the obvious move to make is go bomb Russia. Yeah, sure, of course.
But then they showed a video of this border control point, and it was an old shack in the middle of the forest, not even a road or track near it, and it looked like some geezers had been making moonshine out of it. And there's like, the headline, they bomb a border post. And they've just done some geezer's old house.
Yeah, it's a very, very weird situation. I mean, that's for sure. But I'm going to reiterate what I've been saying for days and few weeks now. I think we should be selling rallies, and look what's happening. Every time.
You have been saying that.
Every time, and I do think that things have actually changed, and it's difficult to do this because the market has been conditioned for years and years that you're buying dips, you're not selling rallies. And we've been saying this with Steve, with everybody for a long time now, that when things change, because everything is geared in such a way, or has been geared in such a way for years, people are going to find it very difficult to actually switch and
Yeah.
do the opposite, and that's going to exacerbate the move.
Think of the mindset, Stelio, the cumulative mindset in this case, like a tanker in sea, right?
Yeah,
You want to turn direction, but think about how long it's going to take
Yeah.
for a fully loaded tanker.
You know the funny part. The funny part
Yeah.
is when the market does actually eventually realize, yes, this is going to be the time when you need to be buying the dips. It's usually like that. But anyway, I stand by that, and yields are again still elevated. The 10-year US is still close to 2%. So we're getting kind of like a double whammy. And yes, 10-year US fell below 2%, but that was all on the back of the Ukraine situation. And if that starts getting diffused in whatever way, then I think you can bet that yields are going to be rising, and that's definitely not good for risk. And we're seeing that again.
This could be just a 2-drive here, and this pullback setting up for another shot up. So that's a good point on the yields.
And once again, we're seeing price action today. We're seeing what cryptos are doing, and they're just high beta risk proxies. So anybody who thinks they're not, the last few weeks are showing that they are. And there's nothing you can't argue against that. Now, will things change eventually? Well, maybe. But at the moment, they are keeping pace with risk. And metals are, look at gold. It's unchanged on the day. So it's been trading quite for the first time in quite a while. I think metals are starting to trade well now. They'd been underperforming. They'd been showing weakness in general, and now they're kind of they're trading quite steady. Even silver, which when risk gets sold, silver gets solder. And it hasn't been.
Yeah,
So are
true.
things changing? Maybe. I still think there's a decent chance of a good flush lower for, whatever the trigger is going to be. But as days go by and we're not seeing this, I think the chances are reducing quite a bit.
I agree, Stelio, 100%.
Of course, you better agree, man.
Yeah,
ratio.
I know where you live, right?
Yeah, I know where your kids go to school.
Exactly.
Grega made the point of silver underperforming, and I asked him if he thought we could make a new high here in gold silver ratio, and that's the only somewhat negative argument that you could have is the underperformance of silver, which is also expressed in the shares, guys. I mean, you look at, I'll show you the difference between here's a gold miner, Yamana.
You mean SIL and
all of them. Here's AG.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the difference between Yamana and Newmont. These are golds, and then look, here's a silver.
Yeah, but
here's the silver.
I guess everybody understands, Dale, that this is not something that can persist over time, right?
Yeah, another silver. I'd be very disappointed if I was long silver shares instead of gold shares, and gold broke out. I mean, still have to respect the breakout, although I'm looking for maybe a third drive for
once again, this is not something that can persist. And of course, admittedly, you can look this in any of the two ways, right? I mean, the number one interpretation, not trust gold's breakout, right? Yeah. Number two interpretation, not trust silver not following up and expect it to do so soon.
Yeah.
Good morning, everybody.
Hey,
good morning, Cayman.
Okay. Yeah, I think in gold and silver, it's relatively simply a case that gold is still a bigger traded market and more, how shall I say, we have seen China and Russia buying gold towards the end of the year, and likely Russia knowing what Putin was planning to do. It's still just also a bigger traded market, and gold is traditionally also been more of a focus than silver when we are, I'm not saying we are in wartime, but when the risk of a war or risk of invasions are there, gold is always going to be get the bigger attention. I think there's a part of that.
Yeah, because indeed they're both monetary metals, but what Cayman is trying to say, and I agree 100% with him, is that besides that, gold has a very important role as a safe haven.
Yeah.
Under even the most extreme conditions. I mean, what would happen to gold under the worst conditions you can think of? A financial system meltdown, gold would explode higher, right? While that would not be the exact same case with silver, because silver, at the same time, silver is actually wearing multiple hats, right? It's a monetary metal.
Silver actually needs a good economy.
It's an industrial metal. Exactly. Yes, I agree with you.
So I think there's a fair part of the gold outperformance compared to silver right now.
Yes, I agree.
In higher tensions, we are going to see that. I'm honestly speaking, I'm not reading too much behind this gold silver ratio now, because we all know that if the situation quiets down or gets worse, it's going to change, and erratically so.
Okay.
Right.
I might try. I see a 1 and a 2, and I may try it for day traded highs.
What is interesting as well, I think, is the oil. You briefly touched it. That spike we saw up around the 95. If ever there's a war-induced or invasion-induced spike above 100, 105, I was saying in the chat room, I think sooner or later we are going to see OPEC, or how you call it, or the Saudis open the taps.
OPEC plus, whatever they call it.
Take advantage of this.
Yeah, Iran might be coming online.
And Iran might be coming online
after many years.
Maybe you short the oil on
on the next spike, not here and now. Personally, right? Because we don't know what's going to be the outcome. Right. Is it a fake? Is it a fake invasion? Is it whatever? We still can get this spike, and a pretty violent spike. We look at the Iran war, the Iraqi war, the situations of really high tensions.
Yeah,
it can move 20%. It can. So it's case of being very nimble. If you want to,
it's a one mistake business. You don't want to make it.
I'm sorry.
It's a one mistake business.
Exactly. I mean, you sell oil at 90. That's where it is right now, because you think that was the spike, and then they invade, and it's a big mess. And all of a sudden, it's trading 110. Who knows? And then you're sitting $20 out of court. You always have to take your account into position, right? Into look at everything. Every trade bears a risk in this market, right?
Now, and another comment for something that Cayman mentioned a little bit earlier, having to do with gold. He mentioned that China and Russia are buying gold, both hands. And if I may add to that, that is not a super recent thing. It has nothing to do with the potential of an invasion in the Ukraine, right? Russia and China have been buyers
for the Olympic medals.
Yeah, I'm sure that was the reason. Yes, only if they wanted to hand in a gold medal to every citizen they have, right?
S&Ps are acting like something's happening.
So they're buying gold for years now, right? And ask yourselves, if you are objective enough, who do you trust more as a visionary of what is coming ahead? Western world politicians or Putin and the CCP in China, right? I know the answer is sad if you ask me, right? But who do you think has a better long-term plan and plans ahead for what's coming?
Yeah, they have long-term plans.
Yes, the populist Western world politicians that just want to give voters, whatever is going to make them more appealing in the next election cycle, or them. That they don't have to worry about the election.
It was 50 years ago when Nixon first went to China, and one of the reasons he went was not just for economic development, was to separate Russia and China and make friends with China so they wouldn't be friends with Russia. And the chessboard has changed.
Oh yeah.
Now they're united.
Absolutely.
It's a big it's the risk game, the risk board game.
By the
Absolutely.
way, guys, the DAX is just
Yeah,
cratering.
no, not only the DAX,
The
the
stocks
risk,
are coming off quite rapidly now.
Yeah.
risk assets are throwing up.
Is something out? I don't know.
That's the
all
only
I know is-
market really moving.
We
Oh,
all
so-
knew that if the DAX broke 14.8, which an alert just went out to the ForexAnalytix subscribers before it did, that if it breaks 14.8, it was just going to trigger a lot of selling. It'd be a very bearish event, and it's obviously following through right now. So,
And the US buy the fucking dippers are not around today.
yeah, no, they're not. I mean, you know, everybody's out celebrating President's Day, but Dale and I.
Yeah. And in the end of week analysis, I wrote once again for another week the importance of that level. 14,800 is, like, technically speaking, super important for the DAX. Of course, it's early in the day. I mean, we might be dipping below it now intraday, but who knows what happens by the end of the day. But I think a daily close below that level is going to be a super bearish development, at least in the short to medium term for the DAX.
Yeah, NASDAQ's almost there for new lows. So what do you think on President's Day? I mean, we're celebrating President's Day. Blake, you're our president of our company.
Not even close. But
so why are you working today? That's a question.
Hey, you know, I mean,
for our people.
So yesterday we had, last night. It was last night here in the U.S. The market was rallying because they thought there was going to be a U.S.-Russia summit. And I got up this morning. I was like, "What the hell happened?" And apparently, what Ryan said is Russia denied some sort of summit. Is that what happened?
Yeah, they didn't 100% confirm it. They said they're ready to have a meeting should one be called, but they didn't. There was nothing concrete. It was Macron who was apparently making the phone calls around everyone.
Oh, okay. Well,
there was news that Macron reported that Putin guaranteed that he was going to withdraw after these exercises, and then he's extended the exercises.
Putin guaranteed. Yeah. Pretty sure Putin doesn't guarantee anything to, Macron or whoever else, you know what I mean? I don't think he's the kind of guy that's going to be like, yeah, I guarantee to you that. And even if he does, why would you actually? I mean, Putin is a very smart guy. He has proven that with his resilience over the years. He has his own agenda, right? And I don't think he cares that much about what, French, German, American politicians think about.
He cares about what Xi thinks. That's it.
It's likely, yeah.
Yeah.
He's doing his thing, and every other leader in Europe is running around trying to make phone calls, trying to say this, trying to say that. He's just sitting there. Okay, I'll speak to Macron.
Sure, yeah.
Nothing changes. I'll tell him everything they want to hear, but I'll just carry on doing what I want to do anyway.
Yeah.
Think about how he systematically weakened the West with, his hacks and cyber activity and elections and everything over the last several years. I mean, he's been laying the groundwork for this for a while. I don't know why he won't do it. It's his dream. They say his worst day was when the USSR was dissolved. And
to be honest, Dale, we said it before. He plays the long game.
Yeah.
Right. He knows exactly what he's doing. There's no question about it. I mean, the guy's, super smart. And I think that, underestimating him at any point, playing the chess game, is a huge, huge mistake, really.
Kasparov says he's more like a poker player. He bluffs a lot. But I don't know. That's what Kasparov said. He's not a chess player. He's a poker player. And he uses intimidation and stuff to bluff. And, Kasparov, that's his opinion.
I think for us in trading, we've got to try and understand what he actually wants. I mean, is it the fact that he doesn't want Ukraine in NATO? Does he not want? Obviously, he doesn't want NATO setting up a load of missiles on his doorstep. But what is he asking for now? Because they're saying, oh, we're going to discuss security protocols and agreements on this, that, and the other. What will it mean at the end of the day? Anything different? And so it's hard to find out what exactly that. I mean, what will stop him from invading? What will turn all his troops around and send them back in, back to their home bases? What will it take to do that? And I don't think anyone knows. I certainly don't.
I'm not even sure he knows.
No, that's the thing. So
I'm not even sure he knows in what sense. I think that he understands the weaknesses of all the Western countries actually not at all being even considering the possibility of actually doing something as a countermeasure other than the usual, financial, some financial measures, some financial repercussions, which by the end of the day, he doesn't, he couldn't care the least about, right? Because he has everybody grabbed by the, you know what I mean? Having to do, especially Europe is totally dependent on energy. If I just tell you how much prices of electricity and gas have gone up in Greece due to the huge increase in gas prices, you'll understand how reliant we're all, at least here in Europe, on Putin's, will.
Were you paying double from last year, Steve?
You can't imagine. Just to give you an idea, let me tell you how the system in Greece works, and you'll understand. We pay every month something for the electricity bill, but they actually measure what you've consumed like every 4 months, like 3 times per year. And then they send you a clearing bill, which in essence tells you we charge you a little bit more or we charge you, less, and you have to pay that to, clear up the, the third of the year, right? So we've been getting bills. I mean, we pay, for example, in my house, we pay something like 150 euros per month. And now we've been getting, for the past 2 4-month periods, we've been clearing bills to pay an extra 500 euros.
Wow.
Just because of the increase in prices, right? Just to give you an idea. So literally, I was speaking the other day with a guy that owns bakery shops and things like that. He's telling me that, they've gone crazy because, in places like that you consume a lot of electricity because it's a big business, etc. He's been telling me that, they can't even believe the electricity bills that they get and the gas bills that they get. It's out of this world.
Up all their profits. They're probably saying, "Why do this?"
They had to urgently increase prices just to cover the increase in energy costs. So as you understand, I think that the game Putin plays is that he knows, especially that Europe is under his control, through energy prices, etc. And what he does is the following: he bluffs, and as a good player, waits to see what he will be offered. So, in many cases, what he ends up getting offered might be even above his expectations. That's why I say that he might not even know exactly what he wants, because on occasion, he might end up getting more than he would initially expect.
Yeah. He could sit these guys on the border, 140,000 troops for years.
Yeah, exactly. And keep getting, concessions and gifts.
Extortion.
Yeah.
He could pull them back and bring them back.
Of course.
Anyway, maybe someone will take them out. I'm sending Stella.
Are you offering? Huh? Is it like? Are you offering?
I don't know.
Is it a service offer?
Okay. I'll do it. I don't care. All right.
Okay. You're the brave one,
Vlad. Huh? I'll do it.
You're the brave one.
We'll sacrifice the old man, I'll do it for the world.
Yeah, the hero.
Thank you. You're very brave.
We'll put a plaque up for you.
Yeah. So no guests today. I mean, just wanted to, get together. And Blake, anything you want to talk about here on President's Day?
Not really, but I did. I was mentioning this to the chat room, and I'd love to hear you guys' input. This is to everybody that's listening in, and I just mentioned this, like I said, in the chat room to people. I last night, this is probably really good news for most of you. So last night we had a family dinner with, I want to say about 25 of us for the first time since COVID. But we ate outside, because the weather's beautiful here. Now, the crazy thing is we've done this before in the last couple of years, but everybody has to take a COVID test, wear masks, even being outside for most of us. Because my mother-in-law, she's a physician. She works, with COVID patients, and has since day one. Anyway, last night was the first time that we went to a outdoor gathering without masks, not getting tested, and that it was like pretty much back to normal. And when that happens with her, life is going back to normal. So I just say that's good news. Now, and I figure the reason why is because of all the therapeutics now. She can just give somebody, if you get COVID, she can give somebody therapeutics and prescribe it to them, and speeds up the recovery of getting better. Anyway, the reason why I say this is because I had dinner with the mother of holistic medicine. She's 101 years old, Dr. Gladys McGarry, and her and I were sitting at the table across from one another, and I hadn't seen her, but more at a distance the last couple of years. So it was really nice catching up with her. And she had informed me that she was doing her podcast again. I'm like, oh, you're still I thought you hung up your public speaking shoes, like, with COVID. And she's like, no, I'm back to, talking every week, twice a week, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I think there would be a lot of people, her and I were talking about loss. And she was talking about loss that's out of your control as just a human. We weren't talking about trading or anything like that. And I'm like, you know what? I think the trading community could really resonate with how inspiring you are and what an amazing person. And I've had the pleasure of knowing her now for almost 25 years. So, so
a tenth of your life.
Yeah, 10th of her life. Yes. Yeah. No, but seriously, I've known her for, a quarter century, and she's lived a century. So, but she agreed, or I asked her if she would be a guest on I have a special webinar for her on a Friday, and Friday afternoon, maybe in the next couple of weeks. And I think a lot of you could be really inspired by listening to a 101-year-old woman who brought acupuncture to the United States. She made up her and her medical group conceived of the word holistic, like they actually made it up, her and 4 other doctors, I think. And she lived in India for I forget how many years, many years. She's born in the United States, but lived in India, and she's traveled the world through Afghanistan while we were invading. She was there in her 90s teaching women how to self-birth in Afghanistan. She's an amazing woman. So she's obviously super accomplished. The state of Arizona they named a day after her some years ago. So if you guys would want to hear her on a Friday afternoon, and be inspired by somebody who's just an amazing person, I'd be more than willing to host it. But I wanted to get your feedback first. It'd be nothing related to trading, but it would all be motivated towards inspirational. So if you guys are interested, let me know. Give me your feedback, because
I think that would be
I'll
great.
put it together. What's that?
I think it would be great.
Yeah,
I'd want to hear it.
It's really amazing. Like, you go into her house, right? When you're in her house, it's like it's surrounded by little trinkets of stuff. Like on the wall is a tiger skin, right? Tiger skin. And you look at that, and she's like, yeah, well, when we were in India, my father, he was a doctor as well. The tiger attacked their where they were living, and I forget what she called it. And this is in India, obviously. And
the Bengal tiger.
He killed it. Yeah, he killed it. And so the skin of it is like, hanging on the wall in her house, but everything in her house is means something, whether it was a gift from somebody, she knows everybody. It's crazy. She knows so many celebrities, and it's wild. But yeah, I'd love to bring her on. And
you're getting good feedback on it.
That's cool. I just started glancing at that, and she'll be on Zoom, so you'll see her face, and I'm telling you guys, she's as sharp as the day that I met her, when she was in her, 70s,
when she was young in her 80s.
Yeah. And so, for those of you that are like, oh, what am I going to do when I turn 80 or 90 or 100? Well, I'll show you what can possibly happen. And it's amazing. She's an amazing person. So anyway, I'm going to bring her on. And
do they recognize people who reach 100 in America? Because like over here, the Queen will send people a letter.
No, I don't think so. No, yeah.
Amazing
no, I don't. But no, she is, like I said, an amazing person. It's great just to sit and talk to her. She's like an angel. Like, and I'll tell you, she doesn't look a lot different from when I met her 25 years ago. She's, not a lot different.
Do I, man.
Yeah, you do.
Okay.
You were looking for it.
You didn't know me 25 years ago. I was under a lot of pressure then too. So anyway,
it makes sense that you look almost the same like 25 years ago, because that was like 2% of your 2% of your life ago, right?
Yeah, I was old then too. Right?
Yeah. Let me see if I can. Let me see really
Willard
quick.
Scott recognizes people over 100. Good. Yeah.
If you want to see
Planet Blake, I hate to be the cynic once again, but the cynical once again, but Planet, the sooner the better. Because when a person has already exceeded their life expectancy by 2.5 standard deviations, you never know what happens from week to week.
Yeah, that's what her daughter has been saying for the last 20 years. Yeah. So here I'm just gonna I'll put that link there. She is inducted to the Arizona Women's Hall of Fame, I guess. But you can read up on her. She like I said, I just got her new book last night too.
There you go.
Yeah, because I gotta read up on it now, because I've got like 6 of her other books. She's like, have you seen my new book? And I'm like, I had no idea. Like, she just put it out over the last year. So yeah, pretty amazing person. So yeah, I'll bring her on a Friday, and we're gonna try to do it here within the but it'll be later in the day. It won't be during F.A.C.E or during our normal interview time, because I don't want to pry her out of bed at like 6 o'clock in the morning to do something like this. So
yeah.
All right. But anyway, yeah.
So I guess now we could talk a little bit about the TFP.
Oh yeah. Well, might as well here. We can talk about it. The trader funding program, if you guys haven't taken advantage of it. I tell you what, after we've been doing this now and putting this together for quite some time, if you guys can only imagine the trader funding program, I didn't realize the take up was going to be as popular as it is. Because I'm like, okay, well, this will be a great opportunity for a lot of traders. They can get access to more money if they think they can do it, and let's give them the opportunity. But what I've found, after discussing with Stelios and Steve about this separately, is that people are really taking it up because it's really like what did you call it, Stell? It's kind of like an option, right? I don't know.
It's a long call.
Yeah, it is. It's like, look, I know I can trade the markets, and why put my own money at risk? Here, I'll put up, whatever the dollar amount today is for the assessment. I'll put that up as risk capital. I know I can do it. So why put any of my own money at risk? And I know exactly how much money is at risk at any given time. It's kind of like buying a put or a call, any type of option. You're just like, okay, I'm going to get long stocks right here, and I'm going to risk, $1,000, or I'm going to get short the market. I'm going to risk $2,000. That's what all this is. But you're doing it on yourself. You're putting an option on yourself and your abilities. And so I didn't really get that. Yeah, I didn't get that concept, Dale, until after getting feedback from people. For me, it was more like, oh, look, we got this great opportunity. I know there's a lot of people that would want to do this, and they'll have the opportunity to get, to try to qualify, take an assessment to see if they can get funded. And great, we'll give them another opportunity, and a lot of people want that chance. Fantastic.
Blake, there is another added bonus, if I may say. It forces discipline, right? Because sometimes when it's your own account and there are no actual rules, you might, get cocky, right? You might, you might feel overconfident at some point and lax a little bit the rules you've been putting to yourself. But in this case, that there are some rules that only have to do with risk reward there in place, it also enforces discipline, which in my opinion is a huge added bonus.
Yeah. And you're right, because how many people just kind of wing it, and it's like, you really have to apply, and we're going to have a discussion, obviously, for the people that came to the webinar last week. We are doing a special webinar for them on Friday, which I'm excited to talk about, because I'm going to kind of go over a lot of do's and don'ts and things like that. But I'll tell you, just, it really forces people to focus on risk management. And that's obviously very critical to your success, period, end of story. There's too many people that trade without stops. They just let their trades, they just assume that things are going to eventually work out for them. And that's how, accounts blow up eventually.
I think we should also explain to some of these guys who may not have known this is a product that we launched last week, to people who turned up on the webinar, but maybe there's some people who didn't see that or have come in today and not realized this is now publicly open for anyone. This is a new funding program that we've got where traders can get funded following a strict discipline of the guys have just pointed out. Click the link there. We'll stick the link in the comments.
Yeah, I'll do it in the chat box. I was just going to do it now.
Yeah,
thanks.
Those who weren't on the webinar, who don't know what this is, have a look. This is a potential game changer for some of you folks who know how to trade and want to just scale up. And take a look and check it out.
Where the hell did the video go, Steve? What are you doing here? Where did my damn video go?
What do you mean? It should be there. Let me check. Try refreshing.
Why would you do that to me, Steve?
I see it.
This is BS. Why would you do that?
Do what? It's right.
Oh, there it is. It's
I see it.
Just kidding.
Oh, the video.
No, if you guys don't know about the program, you just want like a quick 2-minute understanding of it, just click down at the bottom. It's obviously it's me just talking a little bit about it. But just peruse this website, give you an understanding of what it is. But I failed to see that aspect of it. I'm not surprised, but I get it now. I'm like, oh, okay. I can see why so many people are like, yeah, I'd love to do that, because when you're confident in your abilities and you're like, I can definitely do that. And this way I don't have to risk much more than, whatever the assessment fee, or I don't have to risk anything more. Actually,
not even
I don't have to risk anything but the assessment fee, then I see why people do it. And so that's and I didn't think of it in that respect. So anyway, check it out. It's really pretty popular with most traders right now, and I get why. So yeah, thanks Dale for bringing that up, because I wasn't even going to talk about it. But in 30 minutes, I got to be back here for the morning edge. So I'm going to cut out. Dale, thanks for getting up on President's Day and being here with us. I think it was it's nice of you to do that, because I know for most people, they have taken today off. So thanks for being here.
Oh, you're welcome, buddy. Love this place. So everybody,
this place loves you.
Wow,
Amen.
That's great. So everybody, just take these things to heart. Be careful now with your own money. With what's going on, it's kind of unprecedented. We don't know what games are being played, but you may want to consider just being a day trader for a while, and until we know. So see everyone tomorrow. We'll have everyone back and all the volume back, and have a great day. And thanks for being part of our family. By even you guys on F.A.C.E. Just show up, and it doesn't cost you anything. I hope we're adding value to what you're doing. The way to thank us is, you have another option now with the trading funding program, and it's could be, really a breakthrough for you to go ahead and do it. And like these guys say, it's an option. And the problem with options is they have time decay. And one thing about this program compared to other prop programs is there is no time limit or time pressure for you to achieve it. It's just all based on risk management and hitting your returns.
Yeah, and on top of that, Dale, is there's no time limit, and you get access to ForexAnalytix in the community, and ideas and chat rooms and private webinars, that we do for just the ForexAnalytix community. There's a lot involved here that gives you a leg up.
And we're pulling for you so we could brag about it. Okay?
Yeah, I mean, it's it's funny. You say that, Dale. What's funny is my wife's company, Birdie Tell. It's a local gifting company here in town. She went through, like 7 or 8 years ago, she went through what we call an incubator. It's a kind of an accelerator program for tech companies, and it's funded by people like investors rather, right? And it's here locally. And so she went through this incubator type of program, and they support her even to this day, 7, 8 years later. Not support her like financially. It's more of like, obviously just supporting in the community, and she's like, yeah, because I'm like one of the success stories. So they keep me around because they want to brag about me, and so we would love to brag about you guys too in our community. So
all right, and that's it. So have a great day, everybody. If you're in the U.S., enjoy your holiday. Everyone else, just tread softly here for a few days. Let's see what happens here. And
great recommendation.
Yeah, and just don't count your pips and everything. Count your blessings. Can you imagine what it would be like to be a citizen of Ukraine right now? So wherever you are, you still have peace. Adios, everyone. Thanks, team.
Have a great day.
Thanks, Dale.
Bye-bye.
I'll see you guys.